All right, picture this. I'm Mason, 36, and if you told me a year ago that silence would end my marriage, I'd have laughed it off. But here we are. It all started slow, like a crack in glass you don't notice until it's spread all the way through. The first few years? Honestly, they were great. I met Susie when I was 31. She was 28, funny in that dry, effortless way, could quote Die Hard word for word, and made even the quiet moments feel full. We had this small, perfect wedding, 20 people tops. Her sister Kelly showed up looking like someone had just kicked her puppy, but whatever. We didn't care. We were happy. Life was stable, comfortable. I worked in logistics, made decent money. Susie was a dental hygienist. We had a cozy 3-bedroom house in Scottsdale, no kids, 2 paid-off cars, and a spare room that doubled as my gaming cave. That used to be our hangout spot, too. Emphasis on used to be. Then about 6 months ago, everything shifted. Kelly's marriage fell apart, and she decided our house was the perfect therapy center. Suddenly, she was around all the time, with opinions about everything. Every visit turned into a monologue about how men didn't appreciate emotional labor or understand sacrifice. Her bitterness was contagious, and soon Susie caught it. Out of nowhere, the way I loaded the dishwasher was wrong. Gaming with my buddy Nick, something we'd done for years, became a problem. It felt like she'd started keeping score, like every little thing was proof I wasn't doing enough. Then came the book club. Titles like Stop Settling for Less and Reclaim Your Independence from Male Mediocrity. Yeah, that kind of stuff. The woman who used to laugh at my dumb jokes now dissected everything I said, searching for hidden patriarchy. Every sentence started with Kelly says, or Kelly thinks. It got exhausting. One night, I gently suggested maybe she needed some space from her sister. You know, some us time again. She looked at me like I'd confessed to a crime. Kelly was right about you, she said. You can't handle a woman with her own life. I didn't argue. I just shut up, hoping things would calm down. Big mistake, because silence apparently meant I agreed with everything. Then came that Monday night, the one that changed everything. I came home from work to find Susie and Kelly glued to some YouTube lecture about women's empowerment. I told Susie I'd be gaming with Nick later, same as always. She didn't even look up. Just kept chopping vegetables like they'd personally offended her. Kelly gave me this smug, knowing look. You're gaming again? Susie asked flatly. Don't you think that's excessive? I blinked. We literally gamed together Saturday morning. You were fine then. That was different, she said. That was the weekend. Then Kelly chimed in, because of course she did, about how men prioritize hobbies over relationships. I told her as politely as I could that I wasn't talking to her. That's when the gloves came off. Kelly stood like she was about to give a TED Talk, going on about emotional balance and equal contribution. Meanwhile, I'm standing there listing off how I'd mowed the lawn, fixed the sink, paid the mortgage, all this week. But sure, let's pretend I'm useless because I like to game for 2 hours on Mondays. Susie slammed the knife down. This isn't about chores, she snapped. It's about respect. I tried to talk, but she was already done listening. So I did what I always did, went to my office, closed the door, and logged in. Played a couple of matches with Nick. For those 2 hours, I actually felt normal. When I came back down, Kelly was gone. Susie was on the couch, arms crossed, staring at nothing. I sat beside her, hoping we could talk it out. Instead, she stood up, walked upstairs, and locked the bedroom door. That was day 1 of the quietest, dumbest month of my life. That night, I came home to find her sitting at the kitchen table, scrolling through her phone like I didn't exist. I set my keys down and said it as casually as always. Hey, how was your day? Nothing. Not even a glance. I waited a full minute. Susie? Still nothing. She stood up, brushed past me like a ghost, and went upstairs. A second later, a click. The lock. And just like that, the silent treatment began. Kelly's influence was working wonders. Thursday, same routine. Friday, same routine. By Saturday, it hit me. This wasn't just a mood. This was a strategy. A punishment. Because I dared to play video games and not bow down at the altar of Kelly's male accountability. By Sunday, I texted my buddy Nick. Dude, Susie hasn't spoken to me in 5 days. What did you do? Nothing. We argued about gaming Monday, and now I'm apparently a ghost. Bro, that's insane. How long are you letting this go, honestly? I kind of want to see how long she can keep it up. Yeah, famous last words. Week 1 was something else. She committed to the performance like it was her full-time job. Made breakfast. For herself. left my dishes in the sink. Did her laundry, left mine sitting untouched. Ordered food for one and ate right in front of me. But the best part? The transformation whenever her phone rang. Suddenly cheerful, giggling like life was perfect. Then she'd hang up and poof, back to stone-cold silence. Kelly called every single day, and Susie didn't even try to hide it. I'd hear her saying things like, "He's being impossible." No, he hasn't apologized. You were right. I should have listened to you years ago. By day 6, I knew exactly what this was. A power move. She wanted me to break first, to beg. I'd seen Kelly pull the same stunt 2 Christmases ago. Some cousin disagreed with her over dinner, and Kelly froze her out for hours, until the poor woman was crying in the bathroom. But see, I'm not that cousin. I'm not desperate for Kelly's approval. I'm a grown man in my own house, paying my own bills. So I decided I'm not playing her game, not by their rules anyway. Day 7, I was watching basketball when Susie came downstairs. She stood just out of my line of sight, waiting for me to look up. Waiting for me to pause the game, ask what was wrong, apologize. I didn't flinch. I kept my eyes on the screen. She cleared her throat, loud enough to shake the air. I stayed quiet. Eventually, she huffed and stomped back upstairs. Half a minute later, I heard her on the phone again. He's so stubborn. Won't even try fixing this. That's when it hit me. She wasn't hurt. She was trying to train me, condition me. Like silence was the leash and submission was the trick. But here's the thing. Without her constant commentary, the house was peaceful. No lectures about coffee mugs, no sighs about TV choices, no passive-aggressive suggestions. Just quiet. Real, beautiful quiet. For the first time in months, I could breathe. That night, I made up my mind. If she wanted to play games, fine, but I'd play by my rules. I went into the spare room, the one that had turned into her personal storage heap. My gaming setup was buried under piles of stuff. Clothes she never wore, decor she never hung, unopened boxes from months ago. So I spent 2 hours reclaiming it. Cleared every inch, moved her junk to the garage, reconnected my monitors, keyboard, headset, the works. When I was done, the room looked alive again. Mine again. Next morning, I got up early, brewed coffee, and powered up my rig. Messaged Nick. You around today? Always, what's up? Susie's still silent. Been a full week. Setting the room back up. You in? Heck yeah. Give me 20 minutes. Around 9, I heard Susie's footsteps pause outside the door. She could hear the game, the clicks, the sound effects, me laughing with Nick. She stayed there for a full minute, then walked away. The bedroom door slammed so hard the frame shook. Nick's voice came through my headset. Dude, was that a door slam? Yeah, that's Susie expressing her feelings. She's not even talking to you. What's she gonna do, not talk louder? I actually laughed. The first real laugh I'd had in weeks. We played for 3 hours straight. And for the first time in months, I felt free. No tension, no lectures, no walking on eggshells. Just me doing what I loved. When I finally stepped out to grab some water, Susie was in the kitchen making lunch. She looked at me, waiting. Maybe for guilt, maybe for regret. I smiled, grabbed my bottle, and walked back to my room. Her face went red. The fridge door slammed. Day 8? I added more gaming sessions. Morning with Nick, afternoon solo. Evening with my old guild. The guys I hadn't played with in months because Susie always said it was a waste of time. They were shocked to see my username pop up. Dude, where have you been? Long story, I told them. But I'm back now. And just like that, Susie's grand punishment had turned into the biggest favor she could have given me. Her silence, the thing that was supposed to break me on, was giving me back everything she'd slowly taken away. And I wasn't about to waste it. Day 9, Nick showed up at my place with his laptop. We set up in my room like old times. Proper setup, pizza boxes on the floor, energy drinks everywhere, tournament brackets open on screen. It felt like being 20 again. Then Susie walked by the doorway. She saw Nick sitting there, saw us laughing, and gave me a look that could curdle milk. But she couldn't say a word, not without breaking her precious silent treatment. Nick leaned in and whispered, "Your wife just death stared me." I shrugged. Yeah, she does that now. How long is this supposed to last? No idea, I said, smirking. But I'm not stopping either way. What do you mean? I mean, the longer she stays quiet, the better my life gets. No criticism. No Kelly. No guilt for existing. Just peace. Nick gave me this cautious look. You sure you're okay, man? Better than I've been in months. After he left, I just sat in my chair, staring at the ceiling. And it hit me hard. I'd spent half a year trying to become whatever version of a husband Susie and Kelly decided I should be. I'd completely forgotten who I actually was. But now, the silence wasn't punishment anymore. It was freedom. By week 2, I stopped just gaming. I started reclaiming. Every piece of my life she'd rearranged, every corner of the house she'd quietly taken over, I started taking it back. And the best part? She couldn't stop me without admitting her silent treatment plan had failed. The living room went first. She'd rearranged it months ago for better feng shui, which really meant making it perfect for reality TV binges. The couch was at a weird angle, the coffee table pushed so far out you couldn't even stretch your legs right. So that Saturday morning I fixed it, moved everything back how I liked it. Couch facing the TV, coffee table in perfect position, gaming chair back in the corner. Susie came downstairs, saw it, and froze, mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. She wanted to complain so bad you could see it on her face, but she couldn't, not without breaking character. So she grabbed her purse and stormed out. 4 hours later, she came home to find me kicked back, game on the big screen, feet up. She stood there waiting for guilt to hit me. It didn't. Next was the kitchen. For months, Susie had turned it into this Instagram showroom, everything hidden away for aesthetic purposes. My protein powder banished to the pantry, vitamins shoved in drawers, toaster oven exiled to the garage because it ruined the look. Forget that noise. I built a proper morning station. Toaster out and ready, coffee maker front and center, protein powder right there next to my mug. It was practical, efficient, mine. Every morning, she'd come downstairs and have to walk around my setup, frustration written all over her face. But she couldn't say a word, not one. Then I started cooking what I actually liked. For months, she'd meal prepped off Kelly's diet plans. Boiled chicken, quinoa, flavorless greens. Suggest burgers, and suddenly you're the enemy of heart health. But now I was making real food. Spicy wings. Loaded nachos. Thick steaks dripping in garlic butter. The kind of food that fills the house with actual joy. Susie would hover by the counter, pretending to tidy up, pretending she didn't care. But the smell told the truth. She wanted it. She just couldn't ask. So she'd sip her sad little protein smoothie while I devoured dinner like a man free from captivity. Day 14, Nick came over again. We ordered an embarrassing amount of Chinese food, pulled another all-day gaming marathon. You're really leaning into this silence thing, he said between bites. Why not? She wanted me to suffer. Instead, I'm thriving. What's your endgame? Living my life, I said simply. If she wants to talk, she can. If not, I'm still good. He gave me a long look, then smiled. You seem lighter somehow. Like the real you's back. That's called being single while married, man. And he wasn't wrong. I was living like a bachelor's in the house I'd paid for, and I'd never been happier. Next up, the garage. Susie had turned it into a dumping ground. Storage bins, decorations, clothes from 3 sizes ago, unopened boxes she'd forgotten about. My workbench was buried somewhere beneath the chaos. So Sunday I cleaned it all out. Pushed her junk to one corner. Set up my tools just right, every wrench and screwdriver in its place. Then I finally started the project I'd been putting off for over a year, my custom PC build. A high-end rig I'd slowly collected parts for, but never had permission to assemble. Now there was no one to stop me. The hum of power tools filled the garage all afternoon. The smell of thermal paste. The sound of freedom. Susie appeared in the doorway and just stood there, watching me work in silence. I could feel the question sitting on the edge of her tongue. What I was building, why I was so into it, maybe even what was wrong with me. But she didn't say a word. She just turned around and walked away. That night, I sent Nick a photo of the setup. 3 monitors, RGB lighting, the whole ridiculous dream rig. Bro, that's beautiful, he texted back. Your wife must be losing it. Pretty sure she is, I wrote. Still hasn't said a word. Nick replied, How long are you actually letting this go? As long as it takes, I said. For what? And there it was. The truth I'd been avoiding for 2 straight weeks, to figure out if I even wanted her to start talking again. The silence was supposed to punish me, make me desperate for her attention. Instead, it made me question why I ever wanted it in the first place. By week 3, she was cracking. The quiet wasn't breaking me, it was breaking her. I could see it in the way she moved through the house, hovering outside my door, slamming cabinet doors just to make noise. Kelly, her sister, was over constantly now, whispering advice that kept getting louder and more desperate. "He's doing this to spite you," Kelly said. "That's manipulation." The irony almost made me laugh. I was just living, cooking, gaming, breathing. Apparently that's manipulation now. Day 19. Nick and I were mid-raid when Susie's voice carried through the walls. She wasn't even trying to be quiet anymore. "It's been 3 weeks, Kelly. He genuinely doesn't care. He's happier now. Gaming every day, acting like I don't exist." Kelly's voice shot back. "Then make him understand what he's losing. Don't break first, that means he wins." Nick's voice came through my headset, low and amused. "Dude, you hearing this? Your wife's taking marriage advice from her divorced sister." "Oh, I hear it," I said. Loud and clear. "So what are you gonna do?" "Honestly, thinking about making it permanent." Nick went quiet. "You mean divorce?" Every single day it was becoming clearer. I was better off without her. Day 21. Her parents showed up unannounced, casserole dishes in hand, smiles frozen somewhere between concern and denial. Susie acted like nothing was wrong, like she hadn't spent a month pretending I didn't exist. Her dad greeted me with a friendly, "Hey sport, how's work treating you?" "Good," I said, shaking his hand. "Totally normal." We all sat down for dinner. I complimented the food, asked about their week, made small talk. Normal, too normal. Susie sat there watching me, boiling under the surface, waiting for me to slip, to give her a reaction. Then her dad asked about the holidays. She jumped in fast. "We haven't actually discussed that yet." First words she'd spoken to me in 3 weeks, and her parents didn't even notice. When they left, she spun on me. "You did that on purpose." I didn't answer. Just cleaned the dishes, wiped the table, loaded the dishwasher. Silence. Her face went red. "Don't you dare ignore me now. You can talk to my parents, but not me." I walked back to my setup, put on my headset, booted up the game. She followed. "You can't just shut me out like this." I looked at her. "Actually, Susie, I can. You spent 3 weeks showing me how—" "That's different." She snapped. "So do I said. "I finally realized how much better my life is when you're not part of it." She froze, 10 seconds of stunned silence, then bolted upstairs. Door slam crying, phone call. Kelly again. Nick's voice came through the headset. "Did you just tell your wife you're better off without her?" "Yeah," I said. He exhaled. "Bro, I think you just won." Didn't feel like winning, though. It felt like clarity. By week 4, she switched tactics. Monday morning, I came downstairs to breakfast waiting on the table, eggs, toast, and a little note beside it. "Hope you have a good day." Day 23. I snapped a picture of the breakfast she'd made, eggs, toast, a neat little note beside the plate, and sent it to Nick. Day 23 and she's cracking hard, I typed. His reply came instantly. "Hold the line, soldier." I ate the food. Didn't thank her. Didn't mention the note. Just went to work like it was any other morning. That night, she tried again. Dinner this time. My favorite meatloaf recipe. She served it wordlessly and sat across from me, eyes searching for something. We ate in silence. When I finished, I put my plate in the dishwasher and walked toward my room. She followed, voice smaller than I'd heard in weeks. "Are you really not going to say anything?" I stopped, turned slightly. "What exactly do you want me to say?" "That you forgive me. That we can move past this. That our marriage still matters to you." For the first time in weeks, I looked at her, really looked at her. And all I saw was someone who'd let her bitter, divorced sister poison her thinking. Someone who punished me for having a harmless hobby, who made me feel guilty just for existing in my own house. Someone I didn't recognize anymore, and didn't want to be married to. "Our marriage would matter," I said slowly, "if you hadn't spent 6 months turning it into a prison. If you hadn't let Kelly convince you that everything I do is wrong. If you hadn't given me the silent treatment for 3 weeks, all because I wanted to play games with a friend 1 night a week." She broke then. Tears, the kind that come from realizing you pushed too far. "I didn't mean for it to go this far," she said through sobs. "I didn't think, but it did go this far," I cut in. "And it showed me exactly what you think of me. You wanted to teach me a lesson? Congratulations, Susie. I learned one, that I respect myself more than whatever this has become." "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'll do better. We can fix this." I turned back to my computer screen. the soft glow lighting my face. "No, Susie, we really can't." She stood there for a long moment before slipping out of the room. I heard the muffled sound of her voice upstairs, already on the phone. "He says he's completely done. What do I even do now?" Kelly's voice came through loud enough to hear clearly. "He's bluffing. Men always come back. Give him space and he'll realize he can't do better than you." And that was it. That exact moment, I knew for certain. I wasn't staying out of anger or pride. I just didn't want to live another day tied to that kind of thinking. I'd genuinely rather be alone. That night, I opened my laptop and started searching for divorce attorneys in Phoenix. Day 29. I took a personal day. After Susie left for work, I drove downtown to meet with Monica, a divorce lawyer. She listened patiently as I laid everything out. The house, the accounts, no kids, no shared debts beyond the mortgage. "This should be straightforward," she said. "When would you like these served?" "Tomorrow morning," I replied. Day 30. Exactly 1 month. It felt right. On the drive home, I stopped at a flower shop and picked up white lilies. That night, I gamed until 3 a.m. Yom didn't tell Nick about the papers yet. I just wanted one last night of quiet, the kind that actually felt like peace. Upstairs, Susie slept, probably dreaming about me finally breaking, finally begging. She had no idea what was coming. At 6, I brewed coffee, arranged the lilies in a vase on the kitchen table, left a folded note beside them. "Thank you for the most enlightening month of our entire marriage." Beneath it, I placed the manila envelope, divorce papers clearly visible through the window. I went to my gaming room, logged on, messaged Nick. "Might need to crash at your place tonight." He replied instantly, "What's happening, man?" "You'll see soon enough," I wrote. At 7:45 sharp, I heard her footsteps coming down the stairs. Then silence. Papers rustling. She was reading. I kept my eyes on the screen. Then fast footsteps. She appeared in the doorway, pale as paper, holding the envelope. "What is this supposed to be?" "I think you can read just fine," I said. Her voice cracked. "You're divorcing me because I didn't talk to you for 1 month?" I turned my chair to face her. "No, Susie, I'm divorcing you because that month showed me exactly who you've become. And I don't want to be married to that person anymore." "You can't be serious," she said. "We can fix this." "There's nothing to fix," I told her quietly. "You gave me a month of silence to punish me. Instead, you gave me a month to realize how much better my life is without you, without Kelly, without the constant criticism, without walking on eggshells in my own house." Her hands trembled. "You're insane. You're throwing away our marriage because I was upset?" I shook my head. "You weren't upset, Susie. You were playing power games." It all backfired, spectacularly. She'd wanted to show me what life without her attention felt like. Mission accomplished. Turns out, I actually liked it better that way. She slammed the divorce papers onto my desk. "I'm not signing these." "You can't make me." I didn't even look up. "You don't have to sign anything, Susie. Arizona's a no-fault state. I can file with or without you, but you'll sign eventually, because dragging this out just wastes money neither of us needs to burn." Her face flickered through anger, shock, disbelief, and then something darker, realization. "Kelly was right about you from the start," she snapped. "You can't handle a strong, independent woman." I actually laughed. "Kelly, your bitter divorced sister who's been filling your head with poison for 6 months? Yeah, let's trust her on successful relationships. That's clearly gone great for her." "Don't you dare blame Kelly for this!" she shouted. "I'm blaming you," I said quietly, "for listening to her. For letting her turn you into someone I don't even recognize anymore." I stood and she instinctively stepped back. "You know what I've learned through all this?" I said. "Peace. The kind that doesn't ask for permission. The kind that comes from realizing I'd rather be alone and content than together and miserable." That broke her. The walls came down completely. Real tears this time, not the performative kind. "I'll change everything," she pleaded. "I'll cut Kelly off. We'll go to counseling. Whatever you need." "I don't want counseling," I told her. "I don't want to fix this. I want out, completely." She reached for my arm, gripping it like she could hold the marriage together by force. "Please," she whispered. "I love you. I still love you." I met her eyes. "You loved controlling me." "That's not the same thing." I gently pulled free. "The papers are real. My attorney's name is Monica. Get your own lawyer. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. That choice is yours." Where are you going? She asked, voice trembling. Nick's place, I said. I'll be back tomorrow for my stuff. Use the time to process, and maybe call an attorney. Not Kelly, a real attorney. She just stood there in the living room, crying, shaking, staring, as I grabbed my keys, wallet, and laptop. I walked right past her, opened the door, and stepped into the night. When Nick opened his door, he was still in pajamas, eyes half asleep. Dude, it's 8:30. Just served Susie divorce papers, I said flatly. His eyes went wide. You actually did it? Yep, can I crash here for a bit? He stepped aside immediately. My couch is yours, man. But seriously, are you okay? I dropped my bag and sank into the couch. For the first time in 6 months, I actually feel like myself again. So yeah, better than okay. He whistled. You just went scorched earth, dude. I shook my head. No, Nick, I didn't burn anything. I just finally stopped pretending the ashes were a house. My phone started buzzing nonstop. Susie calling. I declined. Again. Then the text started. Rapid fire. Please come home. We need to talk. You're making a huge mistake. Kelly says you're scared of real commitment. I won't let you do this to us. I showed Nick the screen. He gave a low whistle. She's spiraling hard. Let her spiral, I said. My attorney can handle it. I'm just gonna game and enjoy the quiet. So we gamed, 6 straight hours. The phone kept lighting up, screen flashing like a warning I didn't need anymore. By nightfall, I had 63 missed calls and over 100 texts. Susie, Kelly, even her parents. I ignored them all and except one. A message from her mom. Surely you two can work this out somehow. I replied simply, I don't want to work it out. Silence after that. The next week was educational. Susie didn't just spiral, she detonated. And Kelly was right there beside her, adding fuel to every emotional fire. Day 2, I went back to grab some clothes and my gaming setup. Susie was waiting. Kelly posted up beside her like emotional security. You can't just leave like this, Susie said. You owe me a real conversation. I had a month for conversations, I said, walking past her. You chose silence. As I packed, she raised her voice. This is different. You blindsided me with papers. Blindsided you? I said, zipping up a duffel bag. You spent an entire month pretending I didn't exist. What exactly did you think would happen? Kelly jumped in, voice sharp. Classic male behavior, running away instead of facing real problems. I'm not running, I said calmly. I'm leaving, permanently, big difference. And I'm not remotely interested in your opinion. Her face went red. You're exactly what I told Susie from day 1, a man-child. Susie's voice cracked through tears. You don't understand what you're giving up. 5 years, our home, our whole life together. I unplugged a monitor, looked at her. This hasn't been our life, Susie. It's been Kelly's, with you as her puppet. Kelly followed me down the hall, still trying to argue. You're being selfish. Susie supported you, and this is how you repay her? I turned, met her glare. Supported me? How? And the question hung there. Sharp, quiet, final. She used to say she supported me, but what she really meant was she wanted to manage me. The games I played, the food I ate, the friends I kept, even how I used my own house, there was always something wrong. So I asked her once, what exactly did you support? Susie stood in the doorway, eyes full of conviction that had started to crack. I was trying to make us better people, she said. Kelly was helping me see clearly. Better than what? I asked. Happy? Because that's what we were, happy, before her sister's divorce made misery look like enlightenment. I packed my things slowly, deliberately. 6 boxes, 3 bags, 2 hours of quiet. When I came back and one last time, she was still standing there with that same mix of pride and panic. My lawyer will contact you about the house, I told her. Sell it, split it, or buy me out. I don't care. I'm not selling our home, she said, defiant. Then buy me out, I said. Simple as that. Kelly stepped forward, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. You'll regret this. When you're alone and miserable, you'll come crawling back. I looked straight at Susie, not at Kelly. Is that what you actually think? She didn't answer. Just stood there crying while her sister spoke for her, like always. That silence told me everything. I walked out and didn't look back once. The weeks that followed felt like watching a storm form from a distance. Powerful, chaotic, and impossible to stop. Kelly launched a full-on smear campaign. Family group chats, social media rants about men who can't handle strong women. Susie reposted everything, framing herself as the victim who supported a man who threw her away. Then her dad called, the first real voice of reason through all the noise. "Hey, sport. What actually happened? This doesn't sound like the man I know." So I told him, everything. The 6 months of control, the silence, the criticism, how I finally realized peace was better than partnership built on resentment. He listened quietly. "Kelly's been staying with us," he said finally. "She's vocal about you." Then softer. "I've never seen you as anything but good to our daughter. If you've reached this point, something serious must have happened." "It did," I said. "Thanks for calling." But Susie wasn't done. A week later, she showed up at Nick's place, hair messy, eyes swollen, voice trembling. "Please, Mason, come home. We can fix this." I stood in the doorway, feeling a twinge of guilt that couldn't overpower the relief. "No," I said simply. "Over one mistake?" she begged. "Okay, fine. Kelly was wrong. I was wrong. Please, let me fix it." "Susie," I said gently, "I'm done. You spent 6 months turning into someone I don't recognize. I can't do it anymore." She shook her head, desperate. "You're throwing everything away." "Maybe," I said, "but it's mine to throw." She left in tears, and Kelly, predictably, doubled down. Called my workplace claiming I was having a mental breakdown. My boss phoned me, concerned. "Your ex's sister says you're in crisis?" I actually laughed. "No crisis," I said. "Just freedom." Even the friends she tried to turn against me saw through it eventually. The truth has a way of surviving the noise. 3 months later, the divorce was final. We sold the house, split everything evenly, 72 grand each. I moved into a clean, quiet apartment in Tempe, set up my gaming room exactly how I wanted, had Nick over twice a week, joined my old guild again. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't surviving. I was living. As for Susie, word was she'd spiraled. Kelly had moved in. They spent their nights ranting about men and eating takeout. Susie even tried dating again once, but according to a friend, she spent the whole first date talking about me. There wasn't a second one. She tried a few more, times to find love again, new faces, new dates, but the result never changed. Nobody wanted someone that bitter, that broken. Still, Kelly kept whispering in her ear, feeding her the same poison with a smile. "You deserve better," she said. The irony was almost poetic. Kelly had convinced Susie she deserved better than me, and now that same advice was ruining every chance she had at moving on. Meanwhile, I was thriving, not just surviving, thriving. I hit the gym, got back in shape, rebuilt my life piece by piece, made new friends through gaming, went on a few dates. Nothing serious, but it didn't matter. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't bitter. For the first time in years, life was peaceful. 6 months after the divorce, I ran into Susie at Target. One of those random moments the universe seems to plan just to see what you'll do. She was with Kelly, of course. Kelly saw me first and instantly tried to drag Susie away, but Susie didn't move. She just stared. I grabbed what I needed, checked out, and walked to my car. Didn't say a word. But as I was unlocking the door, I heard her voice behind me. "Can we talk for a minute?" I turned. She looked, drained, thinner, pale, dark circles under her eyes, like she hadn't slept right in months. "Talk," I said simply. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "That's what I needed to say." "Okay," I replied. "Kelly ruined everything. She got in my head. I thought you were the problem, but it was her. The whole time." I looked at her quietly. "You made your own choices." She nodded slowly, the truth hitting her like a wave. "Are you seeing someone now?" "Not your business." Her face dropped. "Right. Of course not." "For what it's worth," I said, "I hope you figure things out, but stop listening to your sister." I got in the car and drove off. She stood there in the parking lot watching until I turned the corner, a ghost of the life I'd already buried. A few months later, I heard she moved to Denver, away from Kelly, started over. I hoped she found whatever peace she was chasing. As for me, life just kept getting better. Upgraded to my dream gaming setup, started running marathons, made complete peace with being single, and genuinely loved it. People sometimes ask if I regret the divorce. I always laugh. Regret? What? Finding out I'm happier alone than trapped in a miserable marriage? That silent treatment she gave me? It was supposed to teach me a lesson. And it did, just not the one she expected. It taught me that love without respect isn't love at all, and that sometimes the trash really does take itself out.